Good morning, boys and girls. We are on to chapter 10 in Shooting the Moon. Where we left off yesterday, the last paragraph was like this. It was just somewhere down there in the pit of my stomach. I was starting to think that I didn't like fighting as much as I thought I did. I was starting to feel like I wished I hadn't told TJ to go. So she revealed that when she was looking at pictures and started seeing like a guy in a wheelchair and things like that. So she saw the gruesome side of war. Okay. Here we go. Chapter 10. By mid August, Private Hollister and I were neck and neck in our race to see who would be the gin rummy champ of Fort Hood, Texas. And we weren't the only ones paying attention to the competition. At the rec center, regulars checked in at least once a week to see who was in the lead. They'd pull Private Hollister's notebook right out of his top desk drawer and run their fingers down the rows of numbers, adding it all up. Most of them were rooting for me because I was so much younger and a girl, I guess. The closer it got to Labor Day, the more often we'd draw a crowd when we sat down to play. Even Sergeant Bird would come out of the dark room from time to time to watch. Play 'em as they lay, my young friend. Hit 'em where it hurts. Don't let them crumheads get you down, he'd say, or something else. So Sergeant Bird, like, I'd know it was him with my eyes closed. So when's your last day anyway? Private Hollister asked me one morning while we were trying to get some actual work done. I was underneath a pool table picking up beer can tabs and cigarette butts. Apparently, there'd been quite a crowd the night before, soldiers from the 1st Armored Division. Those units were being sent to Vietnam. Friday before Labor Day, I guess. I called up to him from the floor. I picked up another cigarette butt and popped it into a paper bag. Wonder if any of these guys had ever heard of that useful invention known as an ashtray. I said, crawling out from under the tool pool table and rattling the bag of at Private Hollister. Comes in handy, I've heard. All you know how all you know how it is when a guy's being sent off to war. Private Hollister leaned up against the mop he was using to clean up spilled beer off the floor. He gets a little wild. Mostly they're just scared. I guess covering it up by drinking and yelling. I guess. Still, now my hands stink and I think I'm about to come down with asthma. You don't come down with asthma. Asthma's just something you've got. It's a condition. I had it when I was a kid. I stood up and walked over to the trash can. Why do you want to know when my last day of work is anyway? Private Hollister grinned. I'm working up a strategy, and I need to know how many days I got to beat you fair and square. Your last day of work's going to be our official last day of playing gin, the way I see it. If I win, it is, but if I lose, I'll be coming back after school. Dad, I'll be here much longer after Labor Day. I'll go back to my unit around then. Try to think about going back to your unit means. What do you mean, your unit? Private Hollister began pushing his mop along the length of the floor. Rec Center's a temporary assignment for me. I'm actually a radio operator, 1st Signal Troop, but they needed someone here this summer, and I was the one who got pulled for the duty. They got another guy coming from Fort Sill sometime in September. He'll take over here, and I'll go back to where I came from. Then he stopped mopping and looked over at me. Think your dad knows who I am? I mean, have you ever mentioned me to him? Yeah, of course. I've been keeping him updated on our games and everything. What kind of stuff do you tell him? I mean, good things? Things that would make him think I was a good guy or a good worker or whatever? I laughed. What are you talking about? Why do you even care what the colonel thinks about you? Private Hollister put the mop away in the supply closet and walked over to his desk before answering me. He picked up our game notebook and held it like it was his good luck charm. There's some rumors going around the post about how they're going to send some guys from 1st Signal Troop over to Vietnam pretty soon. That means radio operators now. My mouth went dry. Well, that's you. Private Hollister slapped the notebook against his knee. Yep, that's me. It's just a rumor that's been going around now, but I wondered if your dad had said anything about it to you because he has some control over the situation. The colonel has some control over who goes to Vietnam? Well, yeah, from Hood. I mean, if they're going to move some troops, then Colonel Dexter is part of the group that says who's going. He's the chief of staff, right? The adjutant general reports to him, gives him the list of who he thinks should go. Colonel Dexter signs the orders. Your daddy's a big shot wheeler dealer. I don't need to tell you that now. Private Hollister put his notebook down. Then he walked to the pool table and picked up a stick, examining it as if it were an item of some interest to him. If they send me to Vietnam, my mom's going to go nuts now. They won't send you, I insisted. They couldn't send him. His brother had already died there. It wouldn't be fair to send Private Hollister, too. Private Hollister looked at me. They will if they want to now. But I don't want them to. That made Private Hollister laugh. I figured you'd think that was the opportunity of a lifetime for me now. An all expense paid trip to Vietnam. Maybe round trip, maybe not. Go live the life of a real soldier. I looked down at my feet. I guess. Well, do me a favor, okay? Let me know if you ever hear anything now. Your dad might say something to you since he knows we've been working together now. That wouldn't be Army protocol. The colonel doesn't tell me anything about work. Nothing like that anyway. Private Hollister lined up a shot on the pool table. Maybe you could ask him. Ask him what he knows. I looked over at the clock. It was almost 1 o'clock. I needed to be at the Lorenzo's house in 15 minutes to babysit Cindy, while Mrs. Lorenzo went to the commissary. I have to go now, I said. I have a babysitting job this afternoon. Think about it now, Jamie. If it's going to happen, I just need to know. I got to get prepared. You know, in my mind now. As I walked out the doors, the sudden crack of the balls scattering across the pool table made me flinch. I remembered something that Sergeant Byrd had told me, that he dreamed about Vietnam almost every night. And some nights he woke up to find himself crouched in the dark between the bunks in his barracks, his whole body alert, listening. Listening for what? I'd ask him. The sound before the sound, he told me. The sound that comes right before the sound of everything getting blown to smithereens. I did not want Private Hollister to go to Vietnam. I knew that. I didn't want anyone else I knew going to Vietnam. But Private Hollister was the one who I might be able to help. In my hand, I held one very important card. I made a fist. I got ready to knock. And that's where we'll leave. All right. Next one's chapter 11. Let's see if Jamie can pull some strings. I don't know. It's a lot to ask for. All right, boys and girls. Let's have a great day. And next time we will be doing chapter 11. All right. Have a good day.